Okay, it sounds like I'm on oxygen. Yeah, apparently something is wrong with the listening room bot. Honestly, I keep trying to tell you folks that room is there as a convenience. The best place to be watching the show right now is actually on video. And I don't know why people are not such a big fan of that. I know it's difficult sometimes for some of you to do this on a mobile device, but it is easier to actually watch and listen to the video. You'll hear more of our show. You'll see more of our show. You'll know more about us, and oftentimes we're putting up other media, playing music and doing things that come out on the stream but don't come out in the Discord due to the technical setup involved. So, without getting too deep into how all that works, the bottom line is I just put a link in the chat. If you want quality audio and the video, that's where you need to be, and that would be better. So, Carrie Allen is watching on Twitch because she says I'm the only watcher, which means she's on Twitch, which shows viewer count. There could be people on YouTube Live. There could be people on VLC. There could be people on SteemStar.net. Our source is available at multiple locations. And, of course, you can listen in the listening room, but that is the shittiest audio in the world. It's terrible. Discord runs on VoIP. It's not often. We have a bot that makes simulated stereo. If you watch everywhere else, you get real stereo. So I don't want to break down on the technology. We go through this every single show. Eventually, we will get our audience trained to expect quality, just like they do over on Steam. All right. That said, here we are. YourAreHOPE Foundation has been going crazy since October. 7 or 8 countries we've touched now, hundreds and hundreds of lives. Homeless people, orphans, sick people at hospitals, families, villages, entire half a country in Puerto Rico that we've been sending supplies to. Whether those supplies look like school supplies, backpacks, pencils, pens, and paper for underprivileged children and very, very economically distressed children in, say, Nigeria or Ghana. We have accomplished missions in the Philippines, Puerto Rico, Sri Lanka. Let's see, gosh, I don't leave anything out. The Philippines, Puerto Rico, Sri Lanka, Ghana, Nigeria, the United States. That's 6. I'm leaving out a couple. We've done so much work on so many continents and in so many countries. I'm starting to lose track. In fact, I made a huge mistake this week. So while we're being transparent, I'll tell you about a huge mistake. I come into this show without a lot of plan. Okay, I come in hopefully expecting you guys to ask me questions and talk to me and give me your opinion on what I should be telling you. Because it is a transparent town hall. The whole point is this is your chance to kind of break apart YourAreHOPE and what we're doing, get inside it, see what it looks like, find out more, ask your questions, hold us accountable, take me to task for things. So I'm going to take myself to task. The first thing I want to talk about is a mistake I made this week. I opened the show before you guys could hear me by saying I'm really tired. Really tired. I run a 24/7 streaming network. I run a 24/7 international charity. I also am, outside of Steam, a vice president of a international enterprise class software company. That's no small feat to intertwine into my life with everything else. My teams for my software company are in India, so I work overnight from about midnight till 6 a.m. with them. And during the day, I'm here. And I slept once since Friday, maybe twice. I've eaten a pizza over the weekend. I don't know. I don't eat. I don't sleep. I work. I focus on Steam and my outside job, which is my income, which doesn't take a lot of my time, believe it or not. As a vice president, you get to just send emails, have Skype meetings. But here I am doing this with you. And the first thing I want to talk about is a mistake I made because of my exhaustion. And then a plea for help comes with that. I have people working right now in Ghana. A Nigerian fellow is working to clean up, actually a couple, are working to clean up a village in Ghana, which is one of the gentleman's hometown. He lives in Nigeria now, but he had gone home and he had discovered that the village had been flooded and that there was extreme risk of malaria. In fact, not just risk, but a woman and a baby had been affected and the baby died. He was extremely upset about this, and he sent me photographs and said, can we do anything? And we put together a plan, and he put together the plan to enlist teenagers with shovels, mosquito net, insecticide, malaria medication, and food and other supplies to go to this village and clean it up. And that plan is unfolding for the unbelievably low price of just 200 SBD. Now we know that 200 SBD is, at the current rate, $1,000 or so USD. But this gentleman is employing skilled labor. He's going to have to bring in some heavy equipment that usually requires a contractor for like a bulldozer type of a thing. He's going to have teenagers he's got to equip with shovels, mosquito netting, malaria preventative medications. He's got to bring malaria treatment medications. Those have all been arranged through a local clinic. This mission is a big deal. The pictures that I've seen so far and posted are heartbreaking. The story of the village and the lady losing the baby is gut-wrenching. It's terrifying stuff, and it's real world, and it's happening. So we put together the funds, and I promised him from some posts and fundraising that we did a certain amount would be taken care of. Well, I started receiving funds, and posts were closing, and things were going on. Of course, I'm in battle and steam with Nagano and the stupid idiots and grumpy cats of the world, and I'm supporting 40 communities that I'm in, and I'm leadership in a bunch, and I'm going nuts. And I get the money for the post, and I gave it to a different project. I screwed up and took donations earmarked for one project, and I dispensed them to another project, leaving myself short of the money that I had promised to the first gentleman for this incredibly important and time-sensitive mission. Luckily, I have posts of my own coming in, so I'll be able to take that from my personal funds and make a personal donation to replace what I used from YA for a different YA YourAreHOPE mission from my own income. And I'll make that up. It was my mistake. 200 SBD out of my pocket right now won't feel good, but I've got to do it. It'll feel great, but I wasn't planning on that in my budget. So there's the mistake I made. The mistake was made out of haste, exhaustion, wanting to do everything for everyone all the time. I have my caustic asshole side. It's over on my blog. Go take a look. Many of you will not like the foul language you see in some of my posts. Many of you will not like my attitude. But at the end of the day, there's a lot at stake here. And I'm very passionate whether I love what I'm doing or hate who I'm fighting. Either way, it's the same coin, love and hate, and I go extreme in both directions. So during this, I also went extreme exhaustion. I made this huge mistake. Now it's going to cost me out of pocket to fix it. And I don't have any complaint. I'm not whining. Just telling you the story. So the beginning of this show begins with the reality of what's happening. If you go to the YourAreHOPE Discord at some point and scan through our news channel at the top left of the channels, you'll see the history of the efforts that we've made over the last 4 months. You'll see the documentation that we produce both before and after a mission. You'll get to learn about the people, the citizens that are doing the work in the field, on the ground, in these distressed locations. Venezuela, that's the country I didn't mention before, and is probably where we've done the most. It's getting to be a toss-up now between Venezuela and Nigeria, how much work we've done in both. The Philippines are really good at taking care of their own, and they have a massive community that's very organized on Steam. So every now and then I get the opportunity to basically just send some funding over their way. And I'm in touch with their leadership all the time. Jason and Jay and I were talking last night. I talked to Bear One. I talked to these people. They know that we're stressed for money at YourAreHOPE. In 4 months, we haven't really achieved the notoriety I'd hoped we would on the platform. But we are getting incredible visibility through the efforts of people like Ingenuity and the Alliance and Michael David and all the work that they're doing with the promotional stuff for around holiday seasons and weekly promotions for fundraising. Other people are starting to mention it. I'm getting notifications when someone puts up a charity post of their own that's, kind of their own solo effort. People are commenting, do you know about YourAreHOPE? Have you met Sir Cork? Please go check them out. It's starting to get a little viral. Well, that's what I want, right? Except it's just me over here behind the computer. All those people in the field, they do the work, and I take no credit for actually delivering the services, but I'm over here directing traffic, and traffic is turning into a traffic jam, and I've had a car accident this week. I sent the money to the wrong place. Now I've got to recoup it. It's a big mess. So this week's Transparency Town Hall starts out with that confession. And hopefully through the course of the next 45 minutes, the folks that are here who have been gracious enough to attend in the chat channel can help me try to figure out some solutions. And I don't know what those look like. Obviously, delegating work, not delegating money, but the real use of the word delegating, being a leader, delegating some authority to others to help me, has been underway. I found a lovely person to take care of our Thankful Thursday donor reports. I want to do much more. So let's answer some questions. Guilty Party says, how much money does an average project take? Well, let me tell you some stories. The whole actual charity was founded by myself and Melos Tin. Actually, I kind of founded it. I made him co-founder later because it dawned on me he was there from day zero, and the reason it exists is part of him. And so he had never considered himself a founder. We thought of him as the first agent of hope, but I made him co-founder because he really is. He deserves it. In Venezuela, it cost 10 SBD in October to feed 35 people a meal. 10 SBD at the time was worth around $22 USD. So we fed homeless people on the street in economically destroyed Venezuela a meal each for about $1 each. Okay, so and that was a healthy meal. The next time we did it, we increased the calories and protein and quality of the food, and we added a beverage that is kind of the Venezuelan equivalent of a sport drink, but it's homemade out of juices and things, and it's incredibly healthy. So we took healthy beverages and healthy food out to the streets the second time on around 30 SBD. But to clean up a malaria-ridden village at the other end of the spectrum, Guilty, from handing a guy a sandwich on the street, I called it a repa, which is something like an American sandwich, sort of, or more like a Hot Pocket. That was $10. But to go and clean up a village with an army of people with sprayers and mosquito netting, spraying insecticide, digging ditches, cleaning up garbage, hauling it to the dump, trucks are involved, bulldozers are involved, work is involved. Well, that's a couple hundred Steem, and that's $1,000. Still an amazing value to change the lives and transform the environment to a safe one from a very dangerous one for an entire village of people in Ghana. So the costs vary. The costs can range from sending, 60 SBD to Mr. Akpan to buy some school supplies for a regional, rural, impoverished school. There's efforts going on, and so I get so scattered, I'm so exhausted, and I'm having a hard time even focusing on what I want to tell you tonight. I really didn't get enough sleep lately. But the answer to the question, the prices are all over the map, Guilty. It depends on what we're doing, right? So sending 10,000 agriculturally viable non-GMO heirloom seeds to Puerto Rico after the hurricane cost me about $70 USD. I don't have a Steem equivalent for that because that particular donation was again out of my own pocket, and I paid fiat money for an order from a seed supplier that I'm familiar with from my homesteading days, and had them shipped directly to Nietzsche, who'd put them on a freight container and took them with other donations to Puerto Rico. So in each case, it's different, and that's part of the reason why it's confusing. Every mission is different. Melos and his father and his stepmother might be in Venezuela repairing plumbing in an orphanage one day, while Mr. Akpan is in Nigeria, giving 130 backpacks, school books, pens, pencils, crayons, and paper to 3 different village schools full of children that have no shoes, torn uniforms. I've got people in the audience that are doing this work. Kaf Pato, who's in the audience right now, has done a tremendous amount in his own country for students, keeping kids in school, working on educational initiatives, bringing people to STEAM, helping them better their lives. When I see these pictures, when I see these videos, when I see the proof of work, we are a proof of work-based charity. I kind of lose it. When I see these little kids standing next to 250 kilograms of food that Steemians, Steamidizens as I like to call them, provided through donations via YourAreHOPE to people on the ground in Venezuela to deliver. And these children had a dysfunctional bathroom in their orphanage, so we fixed the plumbing. We brought them 250 kilograms of staple food, rice and sugar and flour and all those kind of things. We provided shoes and food in the Philippines to, apparently over there, malnourished children is a big problem. In the major cities, they all have, you look at the Philippines and you hear this wonderful resort and these nice cities, but out in the rural areas of the Philippines, their unemployment is at like 70%, and the children don't have food. So the Steam Philippines people got together and fed hundreds of them. We contributed to that. It's all over the map. I mean, malaria villages, to orphanages, to hospitals, to agricultural seeds, to medicines, to educational materials. It's mind-boggling, and it's all in my mind, and it's boggling me. And so this week's show is about overload, and I need help. So, Guilty, I don't know if that answered your question, but it's not an easy question to answer. What I will say about the cost of the projects, I wanted to remember to make this point, so this is a good trigger. When people come to me, and I get it, I was telling somebody yesterday, I had been at the keyboard for 14 hours, no joke. 14 hours I had not got up from my chair except to walk my dogs, which takes about 4 minutes, and pee, which takes about 30 seconds. I didn't eat. I was literally at the keyboard in direct messages 100% of the time for 14 hours straight yesterday. What were those messages about? People bringing me new missions. The word's starting to get out. Everyone wants a piece of this. Charity, boy, that sure is shiny when you want stuff or you don't have stuff or you need stuff. So I get these requests, and I made the comment to someone earlier in a private message that was saying, well, isn't that what you wanted? Well, yeah, I mean, I need to know what's going on. I need people to bring me the missions. I need people to carry them out. I need people to know YourAreHOPE exists. I need donations and delegations to make it all work. What I don't need is somebody coming to me and thinking that they can ping me in my DM that I've never met before and say, hi. So I say hi. And then they say, can you give me 100 SBD for a laptop so I can be better Steemian? You're a charity, right? No, we can't. And we won't. If you're on the internet asking me a question, you're 1,000 times better off than the person I'm looking to serve. Maybe 10,000. Yes, it happens. Oh my God, Maverick. The stupidest requests in the world. Well, and they're not stupid when you think about it. These are people out there just looking for anybody to give them a hand up. But I have to reiterate, if you're on the internet asking me a question, yeah, you're not my target. It's that orphan with the torn shirt, with no shoes, whose school costs are a simple $15 USD a month. But he can't attend school, or get an education, or learn to read and write, or provide food for his family. Because at 13 years old, 14 years old, no one can pay the $15 a month for his teacher's salary, his daily meal, his educational supplies. I have pictures from Melos in Venezuela of people laying on cardboard mats outside of a hospital with bleeding wounds. Obviously sick and dying people. I mean, they're not just standing in line to buy a TV set at Best Buy at Christmas. These people are in line outside of a hospital, and they are dying. For real. Because the hospital doesn't have supplies, it doesn't have the room, it doesn't have the staff, and it doesn't have the money to support and take care of them. So they're just outside praying on the ground. And the people don't have the money to go inside and get the care that is available. Shit will rip your heart out, people. So we're helping whatever we can, wherever we can, but the goal is to always choose a project that'll maximize the efficacy of the donation. Basically, it's a return on investment equation If I buy a guy a laptop for 100 Steam, what have I done? Nothing. Unless that guy comes online and changes the world, and there's a possibility that could happen. Maybe he'll cure cancer on that laptop, but I don't know. What I do know is that if I take that same 100 SPD and send 50 to Kafpato, he'll put kids in school. If I send 50 to Melos 10, he will give people a meal who might not have had one in 48 hours or more. And when they had their last one, it was out of a dumpster. And by the way, they're lying outside a hospital dying. So my mission is, vetting. Sarge makes a good point. I do need some triage. Another problem I'm faced with, and this came up this week as well. I'm talking to lots of Nigerian guys. There's a lot of projects to do over there and a lot of work to be done in Africa between Ghana and Nigeria. I haven't heard from some of the other countries there. South Africans come, but South Africa is not quite in the same boat as the other two. I asked why one day, and I was told on the Sunday show, I think, that South Africa, because it's got shipping lanes and a little more industry down there, and it's on the Cape, it's got more financial viability than the other countries that are in the more desert-like environments and not quite, so capable of things. But I also have government issues in those countries. There's vast wealths of resources in Africa, African diamond mines. We heard about blood diamonds. We've heard about all this atrocity. But the people that live there aren't getting any benefit from those diamond mines. They're getting destroyed because of those things. So we're doing what we can. We're doing what we can, wherever we can, whenever we can, however we can, with whatever we've got. So I need a bunch of help. I need people to continue to do the wonderful job that those of you who are here are doing to make people know we exist. It's astounding to me that I've been here close to a year. I'm witness number 78. I founded both of the Steam streaming networks. I built MSP Waves. I built SteemStar Network. Hundreds of people listen to these, if not thousands by now in the last 10 months, 9 months. And yet nobody knows YourAreHOPE exists except for my circle. We got to break that circle. No, I'm not in Canada guilty. I'm in Virginia, just outside of Washington, D.C. currently. I'm not sure where that came from. No, I am in the States. I am not forming a nonprofit. So the questions coming up in chat form, there's a lot of stuff going on in chat. I better check in over here instead of rambling. Let me scroll back some. Carrie Allen, are you needing to maybe set up some kind of form or questionnaire to weed out people and someone to run it? That could easily be done with Google Docs. Actually, I'd probably rather get the website I used to have for this, organization up. Again, it was beautiful. I had built like a world-class website. That's my profession for 30 years. Software. And it looked like, when you went to the YourAreHOPE website, it looked like UNICEF or, the United Nations Children's Fund. It was beautiful. I had pictures and articles and stories about what we do and who I am and why, what the blockchain is, all those things. But I broke it one day and I haven't had time to go back and put up the website. If I had the website, I would create an intake form. I'm not a big fan of the Google Docs thing. It's just a little complicated and it's messy. It works, but what I would need is to somehow have people start to apply. So that's not a terrible idea, Carrie Allen. Building some process. Process is part of what I do for a living in software. Process is a big thing. I think process would be good to have a front door you got to come through. And if you don't meet certain criteria, we just, your application is not acceptable. I think that's fantastic. Good suggestion. I don't know when I'm going to do it. I do need some help. That would allow us to say, how many people are you going to help? What is the problem you're solving? How many people will it solve it for? What will it cost? And are you willing to follow through with the level of reporting that we need? The bar has been set. Melos wants to buy a drone now, and because he's already when I met him, he's a graphics artist. That's how we met. He here in the platform, he's into photography. His documentation of the mission work in Venezuela is amazing. He makes videos. The guys in Nigeria are doing the same thing, making videos, introducing you to the children that we are actually helping. But it's getting to the point now where I've said the guys in Nigeria a bunch of times. There's two reasons for that. I can repeat Melos' name forever because I've known him since October. But things are coming in so fast now that I actually have to go over to my DMs to roll through some names. Kaf Pato is a big help over there. And he's here with us now, and I'm shouting his name out. I love you, man. You're doing amazing things. Steam 44, Ayadea Odede. Oh, this is why I also can't do it. I can't pronounce this one. Ada Yodeji, Aydayodeji, is the guy leading the charge on the village cleanup, the malaria problem. I've got others. I've got people. The list goes on. There's almost 500 people in the Discord, and a lot of them have been involved in the projects. And you can go read all the posts in the news channel and find out who everybody is. And I don't mean to insult anyone by not including your name on the list, but it's getting overwhelming. I can't even remember my own name right now anymore, people. So let's get back to the chat real quick. Great suggestion from Carrie on some kind of form to kind of vet people. I'm trying to scroll back to where I lost that place when I left to go look at my DM people names, because Sarge had made a good point. Guilty asked how much money. We talked about that. Oh yeah, the videos of the children are sweet. You can delegate. Oh, traveling South African is offering to help. Not sure what he can do down there. Well, we'll figure out a role. You know, I mean, what are your talents, right? I actually have Bluefin Studios, who is often on Shadow's Pub's show. He and I had a casual encounter in another, oh, that sounds weird if you read classifieds, but he and I had a casual conversation about things, and he said, how can I help you? Because he's a big-time media guy, like multimedia artist. And I said, well, go through all of our historic posts, all those photographs of children, all that video footage. Make me a 60-second infomercial about You Are Hope, to help me explain what it is. And I'll put that at the footer of every post we ever make. I'll ask all of you to share it with your friends. We'll try to get the word out better than I do when I'm sitting here going blah, 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 blah. So there's that. Forms, questionnaires to weed people out. Good. I'm catching back up with the chat. A vetting manager, which would be in charge of those forms. Good call, Sarge. I'm giving it a title. Then we get into this. Okay, Guilty Party says you need to be able to accept corporate donations and give charitable receipts. I'm so glad you brought that up. No, not going to do it. I am not going to form a formal American 501(c)(3) corporation. I've already investigated it. There's a couple different ways I could do it. I could actually just go get underneath a Rhonda K's umbrella at TARC, honestly. It doesn't take much to document all this and get that, okay? But I'm not going to. There's a couple reasons why. First of all, you're asking me to centralize the fuck out of a decentralized charity. No. Second of all, you're asking me to involve a fiat government with this. No. Not happening. There's a whole reason why I'm doing it on the blockchain with Steem. And the only time we end up in fiat currency is when we cash out at the end to buy the stuff at the store at the very last mile of the process. We talked about that last week and the costs of doing that on the gray market in communist countries and things like that. But no, I am not, absolutely not going to tether this charity to America or Canada or Nigeria or Venezuela or the Philippines or anywhere. I'm not going to house it in a country. I'm not going to formalize it because we are not seeking fiat dollars. The whole point of this thing is I don't believe in fiat dollars. I don't believe in governments. They can fuck themselves, okay? I don't believe in corporations being very transparent much. But we are, 100%. It's all in the blockchain. It's all in the wallet. The mistakes I've made, the times early on when I loaned myself money from donations are in the wallet. Wasn't proud of it. Times were harder back last year. Paid it back quickly and put memos to document everything. I won't do that ever again. That was a bad decision. It's a long time ago. But I will not tether this to a government. I will not tether this to a country. I will not tether this to any kind of regulation like that, because we are self-regulating. You are who I'm tethered to. You, the community, are who we serve. The world is who we serve. As soon as I put us on the radar, just so somebody can get a tax deduction, we've completely invalidated the entire premise of the project. This is voluntarism, not extortion. This is the anarcho-capitalist proof that despite the rise of warlords, there will also rise angels. This is my thought experiment, in a way, in proving something I've always believed and is often argued in the anarcho-capitalist versus anarcho-communist versus democratic republic versus democracy versus, communism versus whatever. The only one that can truly work is a free market, and the only one that can truly work is voluntarism. Luke Stokes has a beautiful video up right now about voluntarism on his blog, where he's overseas somewhere at some kind of seminar or something. I watched it real fast while I was doing other things, but I listened to him. And he's a huge voluntarist. Voluntarism is saying that you do things by choice. And so if you give money to this charity, no, there's no tax deduction. Sorry. But I will take that money and show you where 100% of it went. I don't draw a salary. This is voluntary too. The work I do. I would like to eventually have so much money coming in the form of Steem. I even thought about using other cryptocurrencies. No. This is about proving the viability of Steem. Plus, I couldn't do it with Bitcoin. If I get a mission from somebody that's urgent and Bitcoin's running 45-hour transfers, somebody might not get what they need in time. I need those 100,000 transactions per second. So all of this is much larger than just, hey, I had an idea to get some money from you and give it to them. I have a political agenda. I'm not going to lie. To prove that you, all of you, are not shitty people. And that if we had a free, voluntary society with our own currency and our own transparency and our own accountability, that we'll do this anyway. The argument over on Facebook all the time, well, if it was anarcho-capitalist and it was just all property rights and it was just all about you, no one would ever do anything for anybody else. We're here to prove them wrong. That's what this is about. I mean, it's about helping people. It's about a lot of stuff. But I'll go on a rant about governments given a chance. And there's no good that can come of that. If a company out there wants to voluntarily contribute to this guilty, to your point about taking corporate donations and getting a little more mainstream with it, they know where the blockchain front door is. Come on in. Okay? Our way is better. 100%. We check in with chat. So chat's scrolling along. That's my take guilty on corporate donations and charitable receipts. I may be selling myself short and shooting myself in the foot in the short term by not hooking up with a charitable foundation. There are charitable foundations where I can just go sign up with them. They'll handle the accounting. They'll handle everything. But immediately there are rules and regulations on what I'm allowed to do with the funds. If I want to decide at 4 o'clock in the morning to give the money to somebody who needs it right now for a project while I'm in touch with them, while we can reach each other, while they have internet in their foreign country, I make that transfer and then realize I sent the money to them that I should have sent to somebody else, and now I got to fix it with the other person. I can do all of that. But that could get me fined if I was fucking with a government. So transparency is important. We lose freedom when we go mainstream like that. Let's see. Contact points. Let's see. Docs we talked about. Carrie, I would love for you to do that. I understand what it is. I mean, I'm in technology. I Google Docs all day, but it's not my favorite interface. I'd like to look a little more pro than that. That's all. I've got pride. Let's see. Sarge, a team like on a server, moderators with guidance. Well, we have the YourAreHOPE server, and I kept it pretty unregulated. Other than our rule that you can't spam in there like any Discord. Because it's just annoying. It's pretty much a free-for-all, and pretty much half the room of 500 people is a mod-level person, and the other half are people that we don't know and they just wandered in. But if I know you even the slightest, you get a lot of rights in that server because it's decentralized. We're all in this together. I need the help of people watching the channels for spam and stuff. So we have that, and in terms of a structure for the organization, it's been me. And then the agents, one-on-one with me. And as they stack up from 1 to 3 to 5 to 7 to 10, I'm spending 14 hours a day doing something that not many people could do for me. Or maybe they could. I'm not a control freak. I need to back that statement up a little bit. Currently, it would require me kind of sharing the vision with someone capable of standing beside me in this role. But I have to make a lot of gut decisions. I have to make a lot of inference. I have to talk to Steam44 for 5 hours and get to know him. Or Kofpato, or Melos, or anybody, before I'm going to hand them your money. They need to be sending me photographs of their plans, their projects, the situation, the proof. Generally speaking, these guys are fantastic at it. They've all got Steam t-shirts on. You know, it's like, I know it's them. They got their name on their shirt. And they're standing next to a kid who's, you know, his clothes are torn up, he's got no shoes, he's dirty, and obviously in need. You know, I mean, like, the headmaster of the school is sitting at a desk with a broken leg that's leaning like the Leaning Tower of Pisa. That picture is heartbreaking. And he's the headmaster of the school. His office is in the corner of the room with a dirt floor. Now, I get that buildings over there are like that, so I try not to be fooled. You know, what's normal, I lived in South Florida. There's a lot of places down there that are kind of open outdoors, and if you looked at them, they look like ramshackle places, but inside is a nice bar, you know. So I understand that you can be fooled by the appearances and what may be normal there and isn't poverty looks like it to us. But I can tell. And it takes these discussions and it takes these proofs. So I need somebody that I can trust who has the capability to talk to people and figure out if they are in earnest, honest, and legit, or if they've seen what that guy did and are emulating it to take my money. That came up this week. I got very concerned because I thought that someone who had brought me a mission and I sent them money. In fact, it's the mission I sent money to that I made the mistake with. Not the person who I should have sent it to, but the other one, the new one who came on the scene, and I quickly responded. And then when I talked to someone else, because of a language barrier, I said, hey, do you know this other person by any chance that I just helped because they're kind of new? And I felt right about it, so I did a small donation to him. And he says, please, no. And I said, oh, no, I've fucked up, you know. I said, do you know this person? And they go, please, no. And I really got panicky because I thought they were saying, please, no, God, not that person. What they meant was, and they had to explain it to me in their local flavor, they say please in front of everything. And he continued to do it through the rest of the conversation. He actually just meant no, he didn't know the guy. But when he said please, no in American lingo, that's like, please, no, no. He really just meant, oh, please, no. And then later he was like, please, thank you. And then he was like, please, bro, have a nice night. And please, please, please. And it was fine. He explained to me they use please all the time as just kind of a punctuation mark in their sentences. Yeah, you're just catching up to the casual encounter, Michael David, or was that back in chat? Yeah, that was a mistaken figure of speech, whatever. So yeah, I freaked out because I thought this person was telling me that my choice to send the money to the other person was a bad one. And then I panicked and a sinking feeling in my stomach and how I was going to have to come on here and explain to you that I'd been robbed. Luckily, we worked it out. Everything's legitimate and it's all good, and it wasn't a significant amount of money in the first place. But these things are happening so fast. Let me go back to the chat. I'm just rambling. Better to use Litecoin. So transfers, yeah, no, again, there's a lot of options. I could send traveler's checks. It's not the point. I'm a Steam witness in the top 100, top 80, close to the top 75. Help me out here. I am a proponent of Steam. I may be limiting myself, but there's a reason for what I'm doing. It's multi-level. The transparency, the promotion of Steam, every one of these missions, the people are wearing a Steam t-shirt most of the time. The Steam community is what's making it happen. I believe there's enough critical mass here and coming that it'll scale nicely and within some level of control that's just slightly past me now, out of control. I could rein it in a little. But I think as Steam scales, Tim Cliff just announced his big initiative to shill Steam. It's a big contest to get investors, more money into the system. As we grow and scale out, I'm hoping the charity will go with it in proportion. So Steam, Steam, Steam. Only Steam. That's all I care about. I don't really want to get into taxes, tax deductions, fiat currencies, other cryptocurrencies, conversion rates, trying to manage all of that. I've got enough on my plate. Steam is easy. Steam is enough. And Steam is working for 4 months, 7 or 8 countries, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of lives touched. Some hundreds at a time with one mission. For now, this is enough. Let's take this bite and chew it. Maybe I'll change my mind. Maybe you'll change my mind. But right now, I'm pretty resolute in being a Steam witness who supports Steam, who believes in Steam and wants to grow Steam and wants this charity to be part of the ecosystem like DSound, DTube, DLive, Utopia, the systems outside the stupid Steemit Inc. ugly interface for blogging, Busy and Zapple and Chain. We're the ones that are going to make this currency viable. So I have to stick to that mission and that conviction for now. Let's see, administration, right, and there's the other problem. Sarge puts out that a lot of the big corporate charities are using the money on administration, which he's put in bold, and I think he's being sarcastic because he should be. It's used for the executive home, the $2 million McMansion that the CEO lives in. I live in an apartment in an average shithole complex in Virginia. I don't live in a mansion, and I never need to. I'm one man with 2 dogs. I don't even need the money from Steam. I have a job. So it all gets given away for the most part. I'm pulling a little bit now, because when I go on my world tour next week, I don't want to fall short. And I took some money out of YourAreHOPE and posted about that as well to do street mission work. I'm actually going to try to... I'm jealous of my agents of hope. They're on the ground scrubbing malaria out of villages and going to hospitals and orphanages. And I'm sitting here in my comfortable ass house drinking a beer in a Buddha bottle. Lucky Buddha enlightened beer. And I'm jealous that they get to do all the stuff and see all the people and help touch those lives directly. So while I'm out on the road, I'm taking money with me from our funding. It's only $80 USD. I didn't have a lot to pull out that day when I decided to do this. We never do have enough. It's charity. I pulled it out and I'm going to do work on the streets. I'm going to look for that homeless person. I'm going to look for that child who's begging around the Taj Mahal. I'm going to look for those opportunities in the countries that I visit during this 17-day trip. And I'm going to touch lives in person. Being selfish, maybe, to have that experience for myself. But it's also a matter of proving that I'm not some arrogant white prick in my McMansion with a Lambo outside, feeling good about helping the people. I saw a very prominent Steemitizen last week on Agrode's Queens of Steam show say, "I'm funding fucking Ghana," in her chat. Do you know what I want to say to that person? They're not your fucking toys. God damn it. They're human lives funding fucking Ghana. We've done a lot. But if you ask me, I will tell you I didn't do shit. I directed traffic. I put up some posts. I'm embarrassed. I'm overwhelmed by the load of people coming at me, but I'm embarrassed by how little I've actually done. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I'm funding fucking Ghana. I want to punch her in the fucking nose. And I let the people that are receiving money from her know it. And they were really sad to feel like that's how they're viewed. These are my brothers from another country. From other countries. They're my family. I live here on Steam. You're talking about my family now. You're funding my fucking family. Got 9 minutes left. Let me check in with chat. Get all fired up and mad and start naming names in a minute. If you haven't figured it out already, well, DM me. Because the cockroaches should be in the light. Disgusting. Where are we? Shit. Take a breath, Cork. Take a drink of your beer. Got 9 minutes. See a shout out for Team Good from Sarge. Battle Axe has created a hashtag Team Good. There's a lot of people on Team Good. There's a lot of people who are going to claim to be on Team Good. Choose wisely. What do we got going on over here? They're just saying hello to each other. Lots of hello to each other. Sonny, I'm very sad to see that you're not feeling well and not up to snuff. Please get healthier sooner. I hope that happens for you. What is going on here? Any questions? Right. Michael David makes the point, and someone else gives him props on it. This is a great way to have a charity because the people are real and are there with real people instead of faceless entities doing who knows what with money meant for whatever their marketing says. You know what our marketing is? The results. Maybe that's why we're not marketing ourselves well enough, is because all we do is publish what we did and hope somebody sees it and likes it and comes around. We're not pushing constantly for your money. We run some fundraisers. Other communities run fundraisers, and we do very well with those. We try to make them fun. But I need more fundraisers. I need delegations. I want to upvote these guys that are doing the work. I want to upvote all of you who are promoting us. I want to upvote people who are kind enough to remember, like Jesse to you, every time he gets a chance. This guy I've known since my first days on the platform, but I almost never see him because he's embedded deeply into PAL MSP, and I don't go there. My own problems. I resigned from that organization. I built waves, but I don't go there. They'll tell you I'm banned, and that's true, but I quit long before that. But I don't see this guy. But every comment that comes up on a charity post is him saying, have you met YourAreHOPE? Have you met Sir Cork? You need to go check him out. This guy's a big supporter. I'm proud of him. Kind of forgot why I brought him up. Point is, the people are real. You can, we're all here. That's another reason for not going outside, not going to other cryptos, not going to other forums, not going to other sources, not going to governments, not chaining ourselves to a country. Only here can we create and deliver the dream that I have of 100% purely accountable, pure experience in your giving and our delivering these missions. Yeah, that person is known for stealing the spotlight from people and generally being a piece of shit. Agreed. I don't know if you're calling me Tony Robbins, they're engine witty, but I'll take it. I can walk on fire. Test me. I don't know. Right? Sarge says, babies are dying. They don't know if they're black, white, or Asian, and I don't either. And I don't care. I don't care if they're Ghana. I'm not funding fucking Ghana. Fuck you. I'm helping other humans survive till tomorrow. And I'm only helping. There are people there actually doing it for us. They are our hands, our eyes, our ears, our hearts on the ground. We're just tools. I'm just a tool. Call it derogatory, make fun of the word I just used, whatever you want. I'm just a fucking tool. who's able to clicky and put up words that go give money and people use, and it works. It's not doing anything. Fucking God. God damn it. Going on. Let's get a happier thing here to wrap up in 5 minutes. So people are talking about just life in here in the chat, and Sunny Ali says, I would love to create campaigns and help real people like I want to be helped. Steam It is a great community for this. I even recommend yesterday to a Romanian who is having an organization helping people to try to be transparent and post about it on Steam It. Sunny Ali, with a name like Ali, I'm guessing you're not Romanian. So here's a point, you know. You might be. Maybe you live in Romania. I'm making some assumptions, but I'm going to go with the story narrative anyway, which is, let's assume Ali is actually somewhere in, you know, India or the Middle East with a name like Ali. And he's talking to a Romanian on a radio show from America about charity in Nigeria. You know, you get where I'm going with this? We are borderless. We are not constrained by color, race, creed, philosophy, religion. None of our missions have had anything to do with religion or color or, I mean, what does a Nigerian or a Ghanaian or a Filipino or a Puerto Rican have in common with each other? They're fucking hungry. That's what they have in common with each other, and that's what we can address. I'm on fire right now. I'm tired. I'm angry about what I've seen this week. I'm angry at myself for making mistakes. This is not my most positive show, but it's real. It's the truth, and it's transparent, and that's why we're here. Let's see. Hello, everyone. There's so many people in the room. I'm very proud to be able to speak to all of you. Does anybody have anything? Sapphic says, why am I being so hard on myself? It's my nature. Maybe I'm that personality that keeps creating 24-hour-a-day international jobs for myself and can't stop. I don't know, overachiever, underachiever, over-expectant, whatever it is. I just have standards I feel like I need to meet, especially in the scrutiny of being a witness, of being a charity founder. You'll find I'm capable of not caring too much about what people think of me. Go read my blog. But at the same time, I care very much what I think of me. And you should care about what you think of you too. There's a song, a Christian pop song. I love it. I'm not a monster church-going guy. I used to be when I grew up. But I do believe in God. And there's a Christian song, a pop song I heard a long time ago, that basically the verse is, I wish that I could say at the end of every day that I was happy with the way I was behaving. And most days when I go to bed, I'm not happy with the way I behaved all day. But I am overall happy with my intention. Kind of proud of them, in fact. I had to work hard to create them. I wasn't always the most giving guy. But it's been good for me. Anne Frank said you never got poorer by giving. Nobody ever got poorer by giving. Any questions I need to make up here? And let's see. Let's write. People aren't happy. There are other people who weren't happy with the person I'm talking about on the Queens of Steam It and her stupid, asinine, goddamn, arrogant fucking remark. Funding fucking Ghana. Oh, you are? Do they know that? Do they know that they need to salute you and kiss your ass? Because I just like to shake their hands and hug them and thank them for the fucking work they're doing over there. Because, goddammit, babies are dying. And we can do something. God, fuck, she makes me so mad. Sorry to yell. But there's some arrogant fucking leaders at the top of the food chain here. We need to take them fucking down. And get real work done with each other, with love. Not a fucking personal agenda, other than mine, to promote Steam and fuck the government. Beyond that, we should all be lockstep on that. And feed the babies. Save the babies. So beautiful. All right, it's time for me to stop. It's time for Patrice to come on. Patrice is here. She's waving to head over and get ready. She knows I'm going to run a minute over. Please stick around to join Patrice for Trash Talk. This conversation will continue next Tuesday night at the same time on the same Bat channel. Please come and join me on Sunday for Steamidizens of Steam, where you do get the chance to take the microphone and give me feedback more directly. Bring your questions to me. I've been scrolling the chat the whole time, and we had a couple good ones. Mostly people are just going, yeah or no, or Corky's pissed, and power corrupts, and all of those things are true. And we do need to remain calm. Sonny Ali, I could learn lessons from those people who remain calm, but let me remind you also, somebody said in a post, hey, Patrice, I'm going to let you have the radio in a minute. Somebody I saw in a post today said he was starting an initiative, but he was going to be the Spock, and he still needed a Captain Kirk because he didn't feel like he could lead it. He could only figure out how to do it. Sometimes I feel that opposite of that. I feel like I can lead this thing, but I don't always know how to do it. So we'll continue this conversation next week on Tuesday. Next up, Patrice with Trash Talk. Come see me on Steamidizens of Steam on Sunday and talk back to me. I love all of you. Thank you for coming. And Mial, Bethalia, Fun Show, Guilty Parties in the Now, Katrina Ariel, Kafpato, Maverick Invictus, Michael David, Patrice, Pensive, Pajau, Safi Sarah, Safik, Sarge, Shadows Pub, Sunny Ali, Zapora, Kafpato. I don't know if I missed you. I'm reading the list. I gotta give the Steam stream to Patrice now. Stick around. You're going to enjoy the next show as well. It's just as interesting, but probably not as angry. Then again, it's Trash Talk next on the SteemStar Network. I love you. I'm signing out. Let me give Patrice her cue, and I'll leave you to her, and I'll tune in as an audience member, and we will carry on. Stick around. If you're watching the streams, they may briefly flicker. See you next week.